Welcome, everyone. We are so glad that you are joining us. I'm very excited to introduce our special guest today, Dr. Marie Mbouni. Dr. Marie Mbouni is founder of the Heart Leadership and the Super Creator Method. She is a leading expert on helping high-performing business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and creatives get reconnected and centered in order to achieve unprecedented levels of performance, alignment, and joy. Welcome, Dr. Marie. So good to be with you today.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. And it's a beautiful day out here where I am. And the energy here in the studio is amazing. And I hope that we can bring, what is beneficial for the audience today.
Yes, yes, yes. As we begin today talking, I know that we'll be talking about alchemy and energy and healing. I'm very curious, when did you first realize in your life, when did you remember your soul mission? When did you first begin to connect to energy, to intuition? I'd love to hear that story.
It's when did I first start to connect to energy or intuition? I have to say, since I was a child, I was born with gifts of intuition, of channeling. However, I didn't know that that's what it was called. I remember that I could hear people's thoughts, and during conversations, I could tell somebody's not telling the truth. And as a child, I would say like, "Oh, that's not true," and I was usually made to stop or shut up, and so for a while, I started to believe that, I was bad, meaning being able to hear thoughts or see things was bad, and so I shut it down. And it's only, of course, it was never completely gone, but I was hiding. I had another belief, which is that in order to belong, to be friends with people, to be accepted, I had to be exactly like everybody else. And meanwhile, I had discovered that everybody was not like me. And so I want to say 2012 is when I couldn't push down, I couldn't hide. I want to use a phrase that's not really grammatically correct, but I want to say I couldn't not anymore, starting 2012. And so that's when I started my journey of reawakening, reclaiming my soul powers, and realized that that's who I am. It was really about accepting myself. I think, of course, the journey of reclaiming that was a journey of healing, of self-awareness, of acceptance, really accepting. So that's in a nutshell. It's kind of long. However, I think that it's important for people to know that the journey to your soul empowerment is not static. To know that it's actually like a voyage, like being on the road. It's not a finite point, and it's not a destination, meaning, oh, I have arrived, I'm done. It's a continual, way to evolve, to grow, to shift, to transform, and to be.
I love that you share that thought and idea as you share about your journey, because I find that to be true as a healer and human. And I often smile when I see people, I've ascended, I'm here, I'm there. And it's like when we reach those 150 set of stairs, And we're like, yeah, we're like, whoa, there's another 150 set of stairs. And it's like continuous, which I think is also makes life an adventure, right? And we're continuously healing, continuously remembering, and continuously evolving. And so I love that. When did you, so about 9 years ago, you started to really reclaim your gifts, really to move into it. Did you receive any support from people around you, or did you receive any criticism when you were stepping into your soul imprint, when you were really awakening to all of your soul mission?
Absolutely. It was not easy. As many of you probably know, I'm a medical doctor, I'm an anesthesiologist, and I had been hiding for a long time. And also, I thought that if I really came out as, having this other part of me, my spiritual self, people would not respect me, people would not trust me anymore. So I didn't even say anything to the people I worked with when it comes to this journey of reclaiming. And I was afraid of stigma, many people call it woo or, crazy, or whatever, these terms that are actually ostracizing and separating and labeling that which is different from us. And so because I was afraid of that, when I first started the journey, it was first even convincing myself, because like I said, I had been hiding, and honestly, I had abandoned my spiritual self. That's how I have to call it what it is. And because my soul at that time was really crying to wake up, to express itself, I started to feel that pain of, it's like a whole part of me was dead and wanted to wake up. And when I started to want to wake up and reclaim myself, there was a point where it was like, this has to stop. I make the decision now that I am going to reclaim myself. No, I will stop, hiding, pushing down, and really not showing up. And so when I did that, when I said no and chose to say yes to myself, I think, first of all, I gathered so much courage. And with that courage, I sought the support and help of teachers, coaches, healers, because the first big thing I realized is that I had to go on a healing journey myself and also learn the principles of healing, of going. I had, the shamanic school and the energy schools. I have a friend who usually calls me like the Dr. Brain, which is like, you just keep studying until. So that's what happened. And without the support of those teachers, coaches, healers, there is no way I would have been able to make it. And when I reached the point where I was strong enough in my faith within myself and the trust within myself and the divine, that I then came out in my hospital as spiritual. But you know what, Vanessa? What I hadn't realized, and I want people to really hear this, is that all along, people knew that there was something about me. They knew that, they used to call me behind my back the verbal Xanax, because whenever I spoke to patients, they would calm down. Whenever I took care of people, they would, calm down, wake up without a lot of pain, because I was, using my energy. And then when I came out that I'm spiritual, everybody was like, okay, that's what it is. So even as we hide, we can't completely hide the light that shines from within us as souls, as humans. So as you go through whatever it is you're going through, just know that you have a light within you that cannot be dimmed. I just wanted to bring that message of hope, because I know that at this time there's a big shift that's happening, on the planet, people waking up, people remembering or starting to remember.
Yes, yes. And so many worried that they'll be rejected in their profession or in their homes or in their relationships. I think 27 years ago, I was fired from my job for doing a natal chart during my lunchtime. My boss walked by and said, "Well, I thought you were intelligent. Now I know you're not." And then within 2 weeks, they put me on a list and I couldn't prove anything, but I knew. And so I think that things have definitely been changing as I've seen them in the last 3 decades, the last 30 years, where there's more understanding. And then when we come out, there could be like 5 people going, "Oh my God, me too. I go to a women's group. I do sweat lodge. I pray. I do this." And so thankfully we are. And that was a beautiful message. Thank you so much. I felt it. I felt it in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And when you got the support from teachers and you got the support from community, and you got that support to come out, right, to your work, to your colleagues and your profession, and people were like, "Oh, we kind of knew." Was it a particular, because I know we're going to talk about soul imprints today and soul purpose and soul missions. Did you get great clarity on your soul mission? Because I know that people are like, they think they have to find it, but a lot of times we're already living it. Right? You were already the verbal Xanax and already helping people and healing and working with healing. So when did you get greater clarity on your soul mission?
You said something that is really profound, which is I was already living it. So as for me, since I was a child, I think since I was 6 or 7 years old, I knew I was going to be a doctor. I already knew. However, a few years, like when I was in medical school and in residency, I started seeing how I was interacting with patients. And I received this insight that I am a healer. I didn't know what it meant, but I knew that it was more than a doctor. This is not a comparison of better, bigger. It's about the quality, the energy that's, behind your actions. And I wasn't calling anything soul purpose or anything like that until I started really diving into my inward journey. And the wisdom I received is that our soul purpose is to be who you are. It is to be you. It's not, I am a healer, I am a singer, no, your soul purpose is to be you. It's to be you. Because you come here with codes, missions, teachings, things you want to learn, things you want to discover. And if you are not being you, you cannot share you. You cannot bring your gifts to the world. And so I usually see, in various places where it's like, people being taught that your soul purpose is this finite point. Do this, and then you'll discover what it is. But if I have a way Really discovering your purpose is getting rid of anything that's preventing you from being your authentic self.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes. You saw that when you said that I was clapping and I was doing, when you said it's for us to be ourselves. Thank you for saying that out loud, because we're seeing this in so many places online, many social platforms.
Yeah.
You're a healer, you're a mission. You can be a healer at a hospital, or you could be a healer in a classroom, or you could be a healer in a post office, right? And so thank you for that. So you were talking about getting rid of everything that is not you, which leads me to the question, what are some of the main blocks that prevent us from living our dream life, from really connecting to the divine infinite being that we truly are?
I feel this question deep in my body, deep in my energy, deep in my soul, because we go through so much. The main blocks, the first blocks that come, we learn them in our homes as children. I remember as a child, my trust in myself was broken because whatever I said, I saw or felt, it was shut up, don't say anything. You know, the elders are talking, you're not allowed. And so from then on, I couldn't even trust my wisdom, my intuition, broken trust. The other main thing that a lot of people experience, shame. Shame of being you. You short, you tall, you fat, you skinny. It doesn't matter what it is. You can be shamed to be you, which of course will make you run away from yourself as much as possible with any distraction that you find on your way. Shaming, guilt, fear. These are big things that keep you down. Anger that is not properly channeled or expressed. We get situations where we feel impotent, helplessness, hopelessness, lack of self-love is a huge one. And these, when I look at fear, doubt, self-doubt, doubting the divine, lack of self-love, separation, feeling as if you are all alone in the world for whatever reason. The wounds that you receive really hurt you deeply. And, before I became aware of these, my wounds, I wasn't even aware that I had them. And I think that's the biggest of all. The fact that you are not conscious of what's driving you underneath it all.
It's so true. Dr. Marie, how do we identify this? I mean, you just shared and gave us clear pathways to recognizing it within ourselves, but how do we begin to heal this, right? And alchemize our biggest blocks, because our blocks and not loving ourselves does impact our health, our wealth, our relationships, right? So if you can share a little bit about how these blocks can impact our health, our wealth, relationships, and then how do we begin to heal, to step into healing?
The first thing I would ask people to do is, to suspend disbelief, meaning just for a moment, maybe consider that there is maybe a program, a pattern that is unconscious, that is, creating an automatic master program that is running you. And number two, this is not an opportunity to, belittle yourself or judge yourself. It's actually important to know that no matter what it is that's running us, it is for survival. We do things so that we can survive. When I talk about my story as a child, I started to hide because I thought, it's only if I hide that people will accept me, that, I will belong. And so I'm going to give you a list of a few common programs, patterns that we have, so that it can really be clear for you if, one of these programs is running you, or patterns, whatever you want to call it. For example, do you have a lot of self-judgment? No matter what you do, I'm not good enough, I'm not this enough. Self-judgment, which comes from self-worth. We're going to call this big umbrella low self-worth. Do you find yourself needing approval or validation from other people? Like people pleasing, lack of boundaries. Are you really, very defensive? Or maybe do you think yourself really important? Perfectionism is actually about low self-worth, believe it or not. That's a big, the low self-worth is also where we find ourselves competing with others. Like when you have, you feel worthy, you're not competing with anyone, you know that you're enough. So that's a big category. Another big thing that can show you that, you have these patterns within you is the patterns of disempowerment. This is where you find a lot of people with fear of change, fear of, anything that you don't have control of. This is people who need to control everything. This is also where, you can find people with addictions because they need to use external substances or things to generate a feeling of happiness or feeling of importance. This is really common here. And to break it down even further, you also have, where these patterns can make you live your life as a victim. This is where you keep telling yourself the same things. No matter what happens, it's the same excuse. This is where if you find yourself addicted to struggle, I have to sacrifice, drama, complaining all the time. It's a pattern. It's a pattern. Maybe you find yourself always worrying about the future. I'm not going to have food. I'm not, whatever it is. So the reason I broke it down this way is that you can start to notice maybe one or two things like, I tend to do this, or, I tend to do that. And so this awareness is the first step where you can start to change, to accept that, this happened in my life and now I'm ready. And also not judge yourself, stop the war within yourself. One of the things that you also asked is, how do we get rid of this? And like I said, the first thing is to know that it's happening. The second is really connecting within yourself with the truth that you are a beloved infinite being. You came here for a reason. This is the truth of who you are. And you start to make new agreements with yourself, new agreements to show up the best that you can, new agreements to forgive yourself any shortcomings you think you have, new agreements to change how you speak to yourself, to change how you treat yourself. And that is the beginning of the shift that can help you, reclaim that truth that you are an infinite being. And, there are many other things that you can do, but for the scope of this talk, as you connect to yourself and you go within, you start to reclaim the integrity of who you are, the integrity of your energy, the integrity of your higher self, of your soul.
Thank you so much. I feel like you gave us a pathway of sorts to be able to recognize the unconscious that we've been living and maybe are not very clear on. Because to step into our dream life, that doesn't happen from just anywhere, right? It happens from awareness. And as you said, deeply understanding that we are a divine being and we are connected to the divinity. Can you share more about alchemy, right? Because our patterns can impact our health. What about health alchemy? Do we really have the ability to influence our health?
I believe and I know that we do have the ability to influence our health. I believe that everything is energy and we have integrity. And for some reason, that integrity can be broken, can be torn, can be disrupted. And, one of the things that people don't realize is that our cells in our body are here to take care of us. They eavesdrop on everything that's going. They're like little, how do I even say it? It's just so beautiful if you could see the cells working for us. But most of the times, more than 90% of people don't listen. They're not even connected to their bodies. They don't listen to the messages from their bodies, what the body wants, what it needs, how it wants to be. And so when you start to establish that connection between you and your cells and your energy, you can actually start to see the parts of your body that are not in harmony. So it's about harmony or disharmony. A lot of the comes from disharmony, and it starts at the energy level. By the time you're actually physically sick, it's a long time. It means you haven't listened to the signs. And when you look at how the human body works, I'm going to talk about, a little bit of medicine here, combining everything together. Your cells know how to repair any damage that happens, but they can only do it when you're resting. So when you go to bed at night and you sleep, that's the signal for your cells to start the repairing process. However, if you have disharmony in your thoughts. You think I'm this, I'm fat, my hair is gray, my eyes are yellow, my whatever it is. This disharmonious thoughts also influence your cells. And so the repairing process doesn't happen so well. So the way that, I love alchemy. Alchemy really, for me, is about bringing harmony with different tools that work for you. And I love the tool of sacred geometry, because sacred geometry is really the language of the divine, the language of nature. If you look at, plants, flowers, you're going to notice either, spirals, fractals, different ways. You look at the waves of the ocean, the spiral. You look at how, you even look at clouds, you look at the wind, you look at rivers. So that is the language that I found personally, the language of sacred geometry that can easily bring harmony. And so when, you think about your health, number one, connecting to your inner self at the level of your cells. And anyone can do this. It's not difficult. Closing your eyes and just with your heart's eye, not your mind's eye, because the heart is more, powerful in, bigger electromagnetic field. Really, imagine or pretend that you are looking at yourself with a small smile on your lips and creating a big smile over your whole body. So it's like, you feel the cells of your scalp just smiling, your eyes smiling, your nose smiling, your lips smiling. Just imagining that your throat is smiling and just bringing this smile, down your chest, like your whole chest smiling, your lungs smiling as they bring in oxygen to your cells, and your heart, your abdomen smiling, and, your pelvis, your thighs, your legs, your arms, your fingers, your whole being is just a big smile. And as you do this, you start to notice that, there is a deep relaxation that happens. And with that relaxation, imagine yourself sitting in the middle of a flower of life. A flower of life is concentric circles. And just imagining these circles around you, connected to you, and bringing the energy of harmony of the universe, harmonics, bringing harmony from the universe into your body, into your cells. So starting with this harmony and this relaxation and this smile, so that you can allow your cells to do their jobs properly, because they have the codes to do that. They know when they are empowered to do this, they can. And by doing this also, you will be able to notice which parts of your body do not want to smile, or maybe they are frowning, quote unquote. Maybe they are crying. Like, you will be able to notice, oh, My neck is really feeling tense. I can't really smile on my neck. What's going on? Oh, that's where the thyroid is. Since I was a child, I was never allowed to speak my truth. So I'm not able to really smile here, right? And you start to relax that part and start the healing process from within and receiving all the energy, from the divine through nature and bringing that harmonic convergence, coherence into yourselves through this flower of life. That's one of the ways that you can start that process.
Thank you, Dr. Marie. You just guided us into an experience just effortlessly, right? Thank you so much. I felt that. Talking about health alchemy, is there a way to also use this process of owning and well, I'm not going to use the word owning. Let's use the word embracing our full divinity and healing ourselves, to magnetically attract more wealth, right? And design a better life or create a better life.
Absolutely. When you realize and start to really believe that you're here to be you and that you are allowed to be here, to be at your fullest potential. When you believe that you are connected to the divine and you start to connect to your higher self, to your soul, this is where infinite potential, infinite abundance come from. And when you connect to that source, you start to release all the programs, about wealth, the things you learn as a child, depending on where you grew up, how your family treated money. You start to release that and creating your own. And it's only when you can remember that you have that infinite potential for abundance that you can become magnetic, because it becomes your vibration, your frequency. And we can only attract that which we are. So if in your energy you have slavery codes, or you are, I want to find words that are harmonious. You feel like you have to save, you have to hide things about wealth or money. I don't have enough. All those thoughts influence what you attract. What you resist persists, and you attract that which you are. So as you change your frequency and your vibration, and you only align to your higher infinite being, the divine that is fully abundant, you start to attract that. And little by little, you start to realize that you are allowed to be abundant, to be wealthy. And wealth is about everything: wealth of health, wealth of love, wealth of wealth, right? That's how it works. Your frequency, your vibration.
Thank you so much. And you were talking earlier about having these codes and we attract what we are. So where does the power of unconditional forgiveness come in to, let's say, impacting our relationship alchemy?
So here's the thing, which is that we store our memories, our wounds, our traumas, the places and spaces where we think that maybe we didn't show up the way we wanted to show up, or maybe any pain, anything that was done to us. We store all that. And In order to move forward, you need to release the past. You need to forgive the past. I was talking to one of my clients who had a, like a tense relationship with their daughter. And so I was telling her, you need to forgive. And they said, well, I can forgive if they don't believe that I spoke the truth. And I said, well, that's not, forgiveness. It's conditional. If you do this, then I'll forgive you. And I was trying to explain this concept. I call it unconditional forgiveness. This is where you can really let go of anything that brings disharmony, old patterns, old agreements, behaviors. This is where you can have a clean slate with unconditional forgiveness, because it doesn't depend on the other person. It depends on you. Only you have the power to forgive. And when you forgive, I don't know if you've ever forgiven anyone, there is so much peace, so much love, so much hope, so much joy. And then there is nothing that can, really hinder your growth, your love, your power. That's what I call unconditional forgiveness. Try it. It's incredible.
I love that. Thank you so much. And, truly, like even my own work within hypnosis, and when we forgive, it's not so much for the other person, it's for our own freedom.
Absolutely.
That energy. Before we close, Dr. Marie, is there anything else that you feel our audiences should receive from you so they can move forward?
I want to tell each and every one of you that you are powerful. What will open up that power is remembrance. Remembering that you came here for something. You came here to learn, to give, to teach, to love, to be, to grow, to evolve, to shift, to transform, to have joy. You matter. And it's only when you allow yourself to be you that you can really live your purpose, your soul mission. And I encourage each and every one of you to walk that path. And it's a path that's an inner journey. It's not out there, it's within you and your connection to the divine and to other humans and to nature and the earth.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marie. And where can people find your work and your offerings, website or social media platform?
So my website is my name, mariembouni.com. Everybody will know how my name is spelled. And Instagram is where I am most active. It's Marie Mbouni MD, at Marie Mbouni MD. That's on Instagram. And just send me a direct message. Say, hey, I met you at the Shift Network Energy Summit. That's the best way to connect with me. And I wish you all the best. And such an honor to be here. And I hope that, you received, wisdom, insights, healings, guidance from our time together with Vanessa here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marie. You have inspired us today and shared so much of your wisdom and giving us our soul Xanax, not even verbal Xanax today. So thank you so much. And thank you all for listening.